Yes, cloud, digital transformation, it will all make business more efficient. But this also brings across a huge challenge to the topic we are talking about, that is the security posture of enterprises. What with increased connections across platforms and systems, the attack surface has just increased exponentially. Yeah? The increasing regulatory compliance also is very, very important. The needs around the compliance, and then the complexity of attacks make cyber security of super importance. Again, when you look at the visibility and the balance between the external and the internal threats today, it needs to be weighed cautiously to enable a resilient enterprise. There is a need for a very well-defined cloud security strategy and the architecture with business aligned controls. That's the key. A structured approach is required to manage the complexities because you have hybrid environments, and then you need to also ensure secure access uniformly and provide a streamlined user experience as well. So some cloud strategies fail because security is not built in, but it is more of an afterthought, and it's more of a plug and play later. So that makes these kind of solutions pretty weak. It is also critical that a well-administered shared security model is established between the various stakeholders, the business, then you have the cloud providers, then you have the service integrators. It is also important to maximize zero trust architecture. This is basically, if you look at conventional strategies earlier, Supriya, was based on the premises that data residing outside an entity is vulnerable and hence we need to protect it. Now, when Zero Trust Architecture or ZTA is a security paradigm that fixes this inherent weakness. This requires the organization to get into a continual mode of analyzing, evaluating, and mitigating the risks involved in internal IT assets and business functions. So when you look at the ZTA model, it restricts the access by providing it only to those in need at a time when it's required, depending on whether they are successful in the authentication for each and every access request. So there is no blanket access which is given to anybody. This actually eliminates unauthorized access to data and services and employs a positive, agile security enforcement model. So this is something which is strongly advised and being imbibed by many of the security officers going. When you're looking at cloud challenges, right, the interconnectivity across the IT landscape, this is the key for us when you're looking at, the presence of legacy estate, the evolving technologies, and more of the open IT systems. Increased need for sharing and accessing data. That also poses a huge challenge to the security posture of an enterprise. So organizations today struggle to provision and control access consistently across. You have the infrastructure as a service, you have platform as a service, you have software as a service, all this due to the lack of a centrally managed identities and access rights. That data leakage also, Supriya, is a big threat. The cost of sensitive data leaking from cloud storage service providers and cloud repositories can be huge in terms of both reputational damage as well as non-compliance penalties. Then the next point is ownership of strategies and risk is not always very well defined. So this leads to a lack of control with little agreements on secure ways of working. When we talk about any service, the key resources is obviously people. Cloud skills are at a premium. Cloud security and DevSecOps skills are still in the evolving stages and hence high in demand and low in availability. So that is another challenge. There is also the risk of staff bypass central IT to adopt cloud services, exposing the organizations to unqualified risk. How do you manage European GDPR compliance if you cannot identify where your personal data is stored? I would not envy the job of a security officer, Supriya. Extremely challenging, and there is a significant shift in their thinking and expectations. everyone's going by the philosophy to think like an attacker. So to protect the enterprise within, as well as from, the various engagement partners they have. So it is like, how do you actually think like an attacker? That is the key. The second one is the security officers are very, very strongly oriented towards leveraging on service orchestration, AI, machine learning. These are becoming a need rather than would like to have, something new which has come up. So analytics, AI, machine learning, automation, these are becoming a very, very important ingredient in this entire exercise. There is also a lot of information available around us. So you're flooded with threat intelligence information coming from commercial sources. You have national CERTs and security agencies. They just flood us with a lot of information around security and threats. What is required is for someone to help evaluate these alerts is one, in context to the particular enterprise or his particular organization, and then assist in rolling out the necessary actions in a structured manner. So that is what the chief security officers are looking for when it comes to this particular space. There is also a need for security labs, Supriya, to test security products and malware analysis. End-to-end cyber security services, right from policy defining, strategic consulting to deployment, management and monitoring, this is also in their key focus. Every security officer would prefer to the extent possible to have security and privacy by design and not as, bolt on at a later stage. This is where the collective intelligence of service providers like us come into a great help to them. As far as the new deals are concerned, they are carved out the way the requirements are. Of course, there is a lot of focus on the transformation piece, especially tilted a lot towards cloud transformation. Digital transformation is predominantly what I would say. But then, Supriya, what has happened on the existing contracts is that the clients have worked with us very, very effectively. Today, clients have understood that, you don't need to be physically present for, certain kind of services. They are more open towards, remote working. And of course, we are going to go to the topic of security. That is of paramount importance. But having said that, I think India has been a great revelation to everybody. Today, we have our people working across the length and breadth of India. So they are spread across. So rural infrastructure has actually proven itself. Fantastic infrastructure, telecom infrastructure has helped us and given us the confidence that, we can have people working across India and render services which are seamless and without any disruption. So I would say now the clients have seen that we, and especially in India, have been very resilient to all the changes. And if you recollect, I think along with the pandemic, we also had a lot of natural disasters which came in, right? The floods in Calcutta side and of course in Bombay and other things. And this work from home stood up to all those as well. Because if you see till now, our DR setups have been more focused on in the office premises per se. So, but then this was the first time we were testing a full DR from the various respective homes of people. And I think that really proved a lot of worth and the quality of the infrastructure which we have today in India. I think that's given a lot of confidence to clients, and they're very open with the kind of engagements which they have. And I think we, from all of us in India, have a lot to have contributed to that.